And I think we're live, people. I think we're live. We're gonna get this thing together, but we're not gonna let it stop the show. So it says we're 8, 9, 10 seconds into the show. All right,
Okay.
Cool.
Ursula, this is
Yes.
your show. I'm gonna hush, let you do your thing, and we're gonna rock with it.
Go, man.
Hold on. I'm trying to.
You try see you ain't supposed to be trying, you supposed to just start
I'm
talking.
here. I'm not gonna change background tonight. So, welcome to Keeping It 100. We are virtually live tonight. Thanks to Mr. Houston Vines and Incite-tv Media Marketing. How you guys doing tonight?
Doing all right. Doing all
Good.
right. How you
Everything's
doing?
good. Everything's good.
So we have our regular co-host in the building. We got Houston Vines. We have Mr. Tobias. He's back. How you been?
Hey. Yeah.
Feeling better.
Feeling much better. Much better.
Him and his escapades all around the East Coast of the United States. So
Oh, yeah.
your New Year's was good?
Yeah. Well, I slept through New Year's Eve and woke up sometime New Year's Day. And then about what, a day or two after that, got sick. Got a cold and everything, and COVID came and hit me. I mean, it's been a wild holiday since Thanksgiving and
Oh
everything. I think
wow.
my body was like, "Hey, man." So we're gonna make sure you don't enjoy your holidays, but
You brought
I'm pretty
2023
resilient.
into 2024.
Yeah. But so
Man,
far, 24 is turning out to be really, really good. I
it
guess I
is.
had to get all the bad stuff over with, and now the rest so far, after everything has really been turning out. I've been getting them, but good news right behind the other. So,
Well, good.
Okay.
That's
That's a
great.
good thing. That's a
yeah,
good thing.
absolutely.
Excellent.
Now we also have. I'm sorry, for Mr. Houston. What you got going on other than working on keeping it 100 and getting us squared away? What you got going?
Well, couple of things, but I'm gonna talk about it sometime. You know how you got to keep it in your pocket. But no, I'm just messing. I'm just messing.
No,
There's
sometimes your best kept secrets are successful because people
you
look
know
for a
what?
way to tear you down
You know what?
or interrupt your
That's
blessing.
look, but you know what? That's a long journey because it took me a while. I'm always telling people, look, man, I really want to do so and so and this, that, and the other.
Mhm.
And you telling people your dream and your vision, thinking they were on board. But some folk would take your dream and try to run with it like it's theirs.
Yep.
For sure.
It never works out for them, but
No,
it still dampers you. You know what I'm saying? It'll still damper you a little bit. So yeah, and I've had some friends that taught me some lessons. They were listening to everything I'm saying, and then they were doing something. It was totally different than mine, but they weren't telling me about their stuff until it was done. I said, "Oh,
Wow.
that's what we doing." Oh,
but
okay,
you know what? Sometimes you have to find out who's in your corner and who's not
true,
to
true,
keep going because,
true.
like, literally, you know, um, I think me and you have been talking every once in a while. We'd pop up and see each other and talk to each other. And then I was trying to grow, keeping it 100, trying to build the base. And I said,
Right,
you know what? Who do I know that can help me? Who do I know that, and I was like, let me call Houston.
right, right, right.
And he been on the grind every since coming up with stuff. So I mean, I appreciate you so much for all the stuff you've done for keeping it 100. Period. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying?
He's crying.
He's so silly. He's
He
so
got him
silly.
crying.
Hey, no doubt, no doubt. Look, no doubt at all. We're just getting started because, like I said, the beginning, the intro, all that stuff, we're gonna get that work together. So one of these days when we come on, everything's just gonna pop and be in
Yeah.
place. We've got a couple of sponsors that are coming on board that we'll be introducing before we do the show.
Yep.
So I
We got
haven't
a
really
couple.
got to
We got a
see.
couple events coming up
Yeah, we've
that
got
we
a
got
couple of
under
events
wraps
coming
right
up.
now that we gonna our inside crew will know what's going on. But
Right,
we got some stuff coming up that if it comes to fruition, it's
right,
gonna be amazing. It's gonna be amazing.
right, right.
So
So
we do have a new guest in the house tonight, Miss Courtney. How you doing?
Yeah.
Welcome, welcome,
And I
Hello.
welcome.
see it's Keep It Connected.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. So Keep It Connected is a podcast show that started back in July of last year. It was something that kind of came to fruition, just kind of thinking of some stuff. I had actually been vlogging for about 6 months and didn't even realize I had all these videos I had put together. And I was just like, when I turned 30 in September, I'm just going to go ahead and start a podcast show. And it's been amazing ever since. And I'm just so excited for what's in store for 2024 with Keep It Connected.
Well, good. And it's September what?
September the 6th.
I'm September 13th. Hey.
Oh, okay.
Well, that's all I need to know. Well, good night, folks. Let me log off.
Them
And I
Virgos
deal with
always got
two of
something
you.
to talk about. We got something to talk about.
And
Yeah.
I deal with 2 of you, so no
Let
doubt.
me tell you, and so we're gonna try to hook up with Miss Courtney, and we're gonna keep it connected with keeping it 100.
Definitely.
Yep. Well, that was one
Definitely.
reason why I really wanted to invite her, because one thing I'm going to let people know here now, I'm trying to bring this whole thing, that Incite-tv network is a place. I'm putting something together now that it'll be the place that you'll go to looking for different podcasts, almost like a TV channel.
And don't sell it to the other side.
So what now?
Don't
Oh, there you go.
sell to the other side. Well, which is what we're gonna talk. One of the things we're gonna talk about tonight.
Exactly. But that's what the
They'll
goal
throw
is.
millions at you.
There you go. They're gonna throw some millions.
Yeah, they'll throw millions
Sure.
at you. Yeah.
Oh, they
Now,
can throw.
now,
Yeah.
Now look, now I'm not gonna lie to you. Now, if the millions are right, then they're gonna have to just have me on board. Now I'm gonna have to be a board member.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
you'd
I'm
have
gonna
to.
take
Yeah,
some of that
because
money.
I
And
see,
they'll
and
throw you
that's
that
the
millions. They'll throw you that millions just to keep you quiet and
For
everything.
sure.
I
But
found that out too.
they'll play your whole system in, and then be like, well, we want control. They get more control of it, and then the stuff that you had, then they'll be like, well, we don't want to talk about that because there's some people, the Midwest for some reason,
Right,
or there's some
right.
people that don't, associate. So they'll play that game with you. They've done it
You're right.
before. They'll do it again.
You're
Yeah,
right.
But have
You're
you,
absolutely right.
after listening to Roland Martin today, and it was profound, the fact that the things that keep us under oppression
hmm
are funded by us.
Yep,
Yeah, that's true.
that's
And
right.
That's true.
it bothered me so much today because he even took it back to the fact that Rupert Murdoch is the one that owned Fox. And if you remember back, Tobias, when we were in school, is when we was like going from middle school to high school, is when
Yep.
Fox came out.
Yep.
Because it was only 3 channels: ABC, CBS, and NBC.
Yep.
And then Fox was a channel, and then it had all of the shows that we liked, rock and living, and living color. All those shows came on, and it drew us because it was a channel that had people like us on the screen.
Yep.
We got to see successful Black people for the first time.
Yep.
Now you would think that would have been ran by Black people. But they did the algorithm and realized that, hey, let's give them what they want so that we can then use that following, that money that we generate to do what we want to do.
That's right.
Yeah, that's true.
And so
That's
when
true.
he said that, at first, the NFL didn't have a halftime show, and if you look back, you can't remember a time when there wasn't a halftime show.
Right.
But what happened? He said that in Living Color did a halftime show during the NFL break for the Super Bowl.
Right.
Remember back then, all they would show was a bunch of commercials, and the commercials were like 2 minute long.
Right.
Back then, and so it took up that 30 minutes that they did the commentary back and forth. They would replay the first half and all this other stuff, different plays and stuff. And he said that In Living Color did a
halftime show,
and it popped in their head. That's what we need to do.
And one thing that I was looking at too, and I was going to try to play some of it in just a second.
Yeah, please do.
Yeah. I found out how to figure out how to do that while you were talking. But what he talked about was during the halftime show, it used to be a bunch of commercials and have a band or something come on, come out and do some stuff. And that would be the halftime show. And then they sold a lot of commercial time because people would go rear up their snacks, the chips, the whole nine. If they want to run to the store, they would go run to the store to get more beer or drinks or whatever during the halftime.
Yep. And
then what In Living Color did, was it In Living Color? Yeah. What they did is they came up, that show was doing popular. So they came up with a show to do during the halftime of the NFL football game. And they were watching, just like they always do, they're watching to see who's watching what commercial, which commercial does the best.
Yep.
And they said that they noticed that the number of people watching dropped by millions and went over to Fox to look at
In Living Color. Yep.
During the football game. And they were hot about that because the eyes were turned away. That's when they came up with the halftime show.
Yeah.
That's when they came up with the halftime show. And then they started to eliminate certain things in certain shows because they said that a lot of those shows the ratings didn't drop. That's not why they got rid of them. They just decided to put them in a different time slot to make it difficult for us to keep up with what shows came on.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they knew our work schedule.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he said that we always thought that Keenan just stopped the show. But he said he took the old shows and put them into syndication.
Right.
And I don't think Keenan and weren't even getting paid for those syndicated shows.
Right.
And so Keenan took his whole show and left. And they had the rights to all the other old shows, but there was no new shows coming.
Right.
Because I was like,
so
Living Color was one of the most, it was almost like a sitcom / nighttime talk show kind of thing.
It was taking over Saturday Night Live. It was like the Saturday Night Live that you could watch and didn't have to wait for Saturday night to watch it late and it wasn't live. I mean, everything was and it was the bomb, man. I mean, I was 19, 20 years old. I was stationed in New Jersey when it first came out. I think I was about 19 when it came out, and it was such 89. Yeah, I think it was like 89 or I think. Man, that show was the bomb, man. But then there were other shows that were just as good.
Yeah.
But some of the stuff that they talked about would make controversy, would make white people upset.
Homie the Clown,
and the Fire Marshal Bill. Now, Fire Marshal Bill was such an issue that I was a firefighter. I was a brand new firefighter in the military at that time, and the chief for our department was frustrated. He wanted us to stop watching In Living Color in the fire station until they made it clear to him, you can't stop us from watching certain programs. I mean, Chief, come on. But he would complain about it on a regular basis about Fire Marshal Bill.
Oh, yeah.
Crazy.
Fire Marshal Bill. That was, Fire Marshal Bill. Another one was Handyman.
Oh my gosh.
And see, look, Courtney just looking because all this is before her time.
Definitely.
Oh my God, yeah.
Really?
Yeah. But Courtney,
go to YouTube and Google In Living Color. And if
I definitely know what the show is, but all of these other reminiscent stories, I'm just listening.
Yeah. All the characters, right.
But what I would say is In Living Color did then before we even knew what woke was.
Right.
I mean, literally, if you go back and look, all of these TV shows that we thought were entertainment literally had a message the entire time.
Yep.
And they did it in a comedic way where it's like, you know, when you said white people would see it and it would be funny to them. But if you actually look behind it, it was saying, look, they've been doing this to us forever and ever and ever. And what was it, Homie the Clown? His basic thing was racism.
Right.
Yeah.
He
Right.
called everybody all the time.
He called everybody out too, man. I mean, he was him. Even when Jim Carrey played Vanilla Ice,
yeah.
the whole rap song is talking about that whole situation with Vanilla Ice
Right.
and what the
Right.
system is doing with that. I mean, these guys were not joking around.
They were geniuses back then.
They were.
You know, and people say all the time, and I think Kenan probably promoted more comedians out of In Living Color than any other program or company from since then.
And movies. And
movies.
Kenan also even what was it? Prior to that, he did I'm Gonna Get You Sucker. And that's the first time I even heard of Chris Rock. That was the first time I ever saw him and everything.
Yeah.
And when you hear Kenan's brother talk about it, says, well, originally that was his part, it was his part. But Kenan says, no, I want to use this new kid named Chris Rock and everything. And that's how we find out about, at least that's how I found out about Chris Rock.
Yeah. But
I tell you what, guys, let me play this snippet, okay?
Okay, go ahead.
All right, so let me see. Can you guys see the screen?
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Okay. All right, so let me do this. Where is it? Roland Martin and
y'all made me have to stand up for this one. I was trying to sit down, and I was gonna do this in a couple of weeks, but Greg said something there that I just said I got to do this right now. How many of y'all remember In Living Color? How many of y'all remember Rock? How many of y'all remember South Central? Okay.
I'm gonna fast forward a little bit because everything we just talked about.
Yeah.
What is Fox doing? Black people, listen to me.
Back some. I think it's
listen
back
to me, black people. That's what happened after they got the NFL.
Yeah, back just a little
Bye-bye
bit.
In Living Color.
Well, we just talked about
Rock.
this.
Yeah.
Bye-bye South Central. Bye-bye all of the black programming. Now, some of y'all watching me right now, some of y'all saying, okay, Roland, I mean, that's all that history. I mean, you just bringing up old stuff. I mean, why are you sitting here? Why are you sitting here bringing up old stuff? What has been all the rage for the last year?
He been killing me with his dashiki.
What have you heard, Greg and Reese? Man, did y'all see that movie on Tubi? You need to get on Tubi. You need to get on Tubi. You need to get on Tubi. You need to get you a move on Tubi. You need to get on Tubi. You need to get on Tubi. Go to my iPad. Tubi sees impressive growth with over 74 million monthly active users. Keep it right there. Saying it right here.
No.
Do y'all know who owns Tubi? Pull a picture up. Who owns Tubi? He does.
Wow.
What is Fox doing? Black people, listen to me.
Good Lord.
Listen to me, black people. You built Fox Broadcasting, which gave them the financial wherewithal to get the NFL. They get the NFL, build up the financial wherewithal to launch Fox News. Now we're living in a digital world.
Yes, sir.
And what is Tubi doing? Black content, black content, black content, black content. They dropping black. I see all the Instagram posts, the Twitter posts. My movie on Tubi, my movie on Tubi, movie on Tubi. And guess what? Their numbers are blowing up.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Their numbers are blowing up.
Wow.
Black people, you are turning Tubi into one of the largest fast channels, which is basically a digital channel. They're doing it with black content. Look at it right there. Look at all these. Y'all, look at this. This is how they're competing against Netflix and the rest of them. Black, 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 black. Do y'all understand that Fox sold its entertainment division to Disney a few years ago for $70+ billion? Fox Studios,
Yeah.
Fox Entertainment, all of their Fox Entertainment assets sold to Disney.
That's right.
They retain Fox News, Wall Street Journal, New York Post, and those assets. So Fox right now is building a digital brand
Yes,
on the backs of black people.
Yes.
And you know what we doing? We're going, I'm on Tubi. I'm on Tubi. Oh, I'm on Tubi.
All right, let me stop it right there. So, with that being said, it just makes you kind of open your eyes a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm not going to say completely in a bad way. You know, we didn't know.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of us that have movies and have dreams of making movies and want them to be on a platform. So I'm not mad about that. It just opened my eyes to, well, dog, we could have done something like this ourselves.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Especially as many NBA players, football players, investment stockbrokers that are black, even if some that are white came together with us to build it ourselves to do that. You know, that's what makes me look at. We're the ones spending the money holding our own selves back.
You know what? Let me tell you something. And I thought about it, and we thought the same thing when Oprah finally did OWN.
Right.
Right. And he talked about that too.
That is true.
And it was, and I will say, I tried to really, really support it because it was a black owned channel. Okay.
Right.
And then what she did, which I thought was smart, she started bringing in, which Tyler Perry, he's a black producer, executive.
Right.
She started bringing in all of his content.
Right.
And she had the whole Sweetie Pies show, which really was her cash cow for OWN. That was her biggest show until the whole
until they started tripping about some stuff.
The whole murder thing.
Right.
You know.
Right.
And so it's like it's right. It ain't like we don't have the funds to do that same exact thing.
Well, we have the funds because we spend the funds to go do that exact same thing.
Correct.
You know, so that's the thing. We have the funds. The one thing I would love for anybody who can do the math. My calculator almost couldn't go that far. I've got 74. They said 74 million subscribers. Am I wrong? Is that what they said?
Mm-hmm.
If you go 74 million subscribers, paying $6.99 every 30 days. Because Tubi costs what, like $6.99 a month? It's not a big major expense, but $7 a month times 74 million people. That's a lot of money.
But what gets me is we don't understand that when you go to Tubi, it's all black content.
Well, I'm gonna tell you what.
Because I thought Tubi was a black-owned station because it was all black content.
Correct.
Well, me too. I thought so too. But now I'm gonna tell you what I'm starting to notice. Even where Roland Martin was scrolling through a few seconds ago, I started seeing a lot of white shows too.
Mm-hmm. Oh, they're gonna always throw a couple of them in there, but 95% are black.
Right. But this is what I'm getting at. they did the same thing with Fox. And Fox in the beginning was 85% black shows.
Black. Mm-hmm.
And
Yep.
then they start doing what? They start flipping.
Yep.
They
Slowly
start
flipping.
Because as soon as they get enough money coming in, then they can bring in all these other type shows. And everybody wants to be tied in with Tubi. And then they're going to stop bringing in as many black shows because they've already got our subscriptions.
Yeah.
And then sometimes we'll drop the subscriptions. But if you look, do you think I'm really going to be upset with you if, let's say, all four of us, all of you guys were paying me $10 a month for whatever, right? And then I get 200 other people paying me $10 a month. And then you four decide to drop out. What? That doesn't mean a thing.
And that's why I think platforms like Roland Martin, Unfiltered, Keeping It 100, Incite-tv, Keeping It Connect, why all of these different podcasts are important, because however many people watched Roland Martin, you know what I'm saying, and did what I did and deleted. I was like, okay, fine. I'm not going to watch Tubi anymore. And then, because I really haven't watched it in almost a year, honestly, but I went ahead and deleted my subscription to it. Now, if the four of us did the same thing, and then 10 people that follow you, Houston, or 10 people that follow Courtney, and 10 people that follow Maurice, if those 10 people say, you know what, I'm not doing it either, and they deleted it, and then it keeps doing the same way they built their subscription.
Right.
People sharing that information, and people who are aware or you know of what it really means and what he was really saying, what it really means for Black people. If they in turn did the same thing, those subscriptions would turn around and, like you said, and it would reverse.
Right.
So I mean, it may take a while, and you can have some people who are just not going to care.
But okay, because I got interrupted for a little bit. So are you trying to say that all of us kind of start dropping it? Is that what you're saying? Dropping Tubi?
If you listen more to as he goes further into his video, and he lets you know that the same way that they did in Living Color and use it to build up people, and now we have Fox News that I personally can't stand half the time. Right. You know what I'm saying? So the money I poured into, you know, the other shows and those subscriptions and helping to build that channel, is now working against my beliefs. Which
has always been the case.
Yeah. But now
it has always been the case. So what I'm getting at is this: now that we know, I don't have a problem with Tubi. I think we need to find other platforms as well, because I didn't realize it was this many folks out there making movies. You know, I didn't know. Now, some of the movies I can tell was made over the weekend with a $600 camera and one light and a script that somebody wrote, you know, the day before. So, you know, I'm not upset at that.
But they get, but the flip side to it is, although their intent behind it is not genuine, they gave the opportunity.
Right. That's what I'm saying. We can't get rid of it. I mean, I don't want to drop it because, and what got me was I think the only reason why it popped up on my timeline on YouTube is because I really didn't care for Tubi. And then I watched the movie. And I'm like, well, that was pretty decent. And I'm into, even with photography and the whole nine, I'm into writing. So I'm looking at what they're doing and I'm like, well, that one was pretty good. Well, I see the flaw in that one. And I found myself watching more stuff. So I want people I want them to continue making movies, but I want them to we got to figure out a way to make it where we can support them in making the movies and watch it, and we get something out of it. So whether it's this Murdoch guy or whoever, it needs to be a board of us along with it to make sure that, hey, something's giving back to the community. Hey, they're going to start doing some classes and teaching people how to make movies, or education or something out of it. But then we can't fuss at them for making that money. We just got to take the money that we make from it and build something even different or better. If that makes any sense.
It's not the fact that that they can't make the movies and stuff or have the talent to make movies, because anybody can tell a story and anybody can take a camera of sorts and put people in front of it and do it. That's not the issue. The issue is distribution. And
Right.
when
Right.
we've had this problem. We've had this problem since the 20s.
Yeah.
Since the 20s. We have made movies. We've had black men from France that used to make some of the most wonderful silent movies. I've seen some of the best silent movies that would outdo Charlie Chaplin, and they were
Right.
it was black content. But we didn't. A lot of us didn't hear about it. Why? Because of distribution. And then when you
Right.
get someone like the movie Turner Classics that decided, okay, it's Black History Month, so we're going to show some black movies from black artists as far back as the 20s.
Right.
Okay,
Right.
you see those and you're like, wow, how come I never heard of this? Or
Right.
you see movies that were made the 20s, the 30s, 40s, 50s, on and on and on. Yesterday. The
Right.
problem is the problem has always been
Distribution.
being able to distribute them out. And the thing about it is again, it's trust.
Right.
Is about trust. It's about poverty. It's about it becomes stuff like bootleg,
Right.
whether it be DVDs, CDs. Shoot, I got the R. Kelly 12 play and Aaron Hall that second
Don't talk
album
too
that he
much.
did.
Don't let the cops come knocking. Don't talk too much.
Let me tell you something. This back in the 90s, back in the early
Right.
90s, before it even
Right.
hit, what
Right.
bootleggers.
Right. Right.
So those were our distributors.
Well, you
But
know what?
they didn't do anything different from what the Jewish distributors have been doing for years with black
Right.
content information. And this guy here is no different.
Well, here's the thing.
He's making money. And
Well,
his thing is and he's being allowed to do it. Why? Because all these folks who are making a shoot, even Spike talked about this years ago. But
right.
what do you do if you look, you can go out here on the streets and tell somebody that you made a movie. All right. I made this movie and I want to show it to everybody and everything, but because of what their mainstream is and what they've been watching so far, they already picking it apart, don't want to watch it, ain't telling nobody about it. But that's just that neighborhood. And now this person who spent probably all of his money to make this movie, now he's got to try to find a way to send it out. Well, take a page from Shahrazad Ali. Her book worldwide. How? She started out by just having her books on the corner out there in Harlem and basically just selling it like so. Well,
So
we have to start from a beginning. We have to start from one step and then move on. It's going to take some years, but we'll be able to get our own TV platform and stuff if we just follow the steps one by one. If we don't do that, then we're going to be back in places like Fox, Tubi, BET, who eventually this joker then sells it out for billions of dollars, and we see what's become of that. So, money talks.
Well, money talks. Let's look at it like this. The reason why I thought the whole Tubi thing would be great to talk about is once I saw what Roland Martin was talking about, I'm not knocking the fact that Tubi's there, but we've got to find another way to say, okay, I didn't realize there was this many movies out there. So let's find a way that we can continue what Tubi's doing, but find a different platform at some point in time. Or let's figure out how to force Tubi to give people more part of the pie somehow. Now you may not be able to do that because they own it, so we're gonna have to figure out something different. We're gonna have to figure out something different. Like I said, I'm not upset with the whole Tubi thing because it's a business. Now I've heard of other outlets that are out here that have been in business for at least 3 to 4 years, all Black network, where you can find all these different movies. Now I think where the problem come in is Tubi is paying folks. The other outlet saying, I can't pay you up front. I can pay you when someone streams it and pay a certain amount of money and you'll get a percentage. And a lot of times we can't afford to pay what the other company's paying. So I'm gonna have to do some research because I know someone that has a movie on Tubi. I did a play with them, and they're from Greenville, North Carolina. And they've got a movie on Tubi.
And plus, you got to understand how these guys are fronted, how this money is coming to these guys. Like Tubi and stuff like that. The only way you're gonna affect change, okay, is you're gonna have to do something called you're gonna have to walk away from it. I know we say, well, we don't want to walk away from Tubi because, well, it has a platform, but let's look what's happening here. You got someone behind it that's going to play the same game that he did with Fox. It's coming.
Right.
You just don't know when.
Right. It's coming.
So therefore, your money, your time is going into that, and you'll be doing the same thing that Fox was doing. What's the best thing to do? Sometimes the best thing to do is walk away. Sometimes you got to eat that. You got to take that hit in order to affect better change. So yeah, you're going to have to end up finding a new way is to start from the beginning. Start with something new.
Right.
I mean, look how many, what years? This is 2024. We're now in the 20 years into this new millennium. This stuff has been going on for now over 100 years. And folks like us have sat down and talked about this over and over and over again. Some of us here are in our 50s now. And you remember when we were in our 20s, people were talking about this, how to affect the change, how to do this, how to do that. But nothing was done. Instead, what they did is that they just jumped on the mainstream with the hope that things would change.
Yeah.
Look at it like this. You remember when Martin Luther King...
Hold tight. Only reason I'm saying that because I want to give somebody else a chance to say something real quick.
Yeah, because Courtney be quiet over there.
And I think Courtney's like, look, I don't know. But Courtney, let me ask you a couple of questions.
Sure.
Because you're a little bit younger than us. First of all, let me ask you this, because I'm quite sure. Have you found a movie or two that you were kind of surprised that you did like on Tubi?
Yes.
Okay. And do you remember the name of the movie?
I do not.
Okay. And the reason why I asked that question is I think Tubi has been great for us to find out about some new shows.
Yeah, I would say that.
And new characters. So it has its good points and its good things there. Until today, I didn't have an issue until I found out, like, ooh, the fact that that guy owned it didn't bother me. Once Roland Martin started showing me the path from the past of how things were done, then I went, ooh. But here's the problem with a lot of times, I feel us in our community, what we do, we'll find out something like this and we go, oh no, I'm stopping that.
Yeah.
But we don't find another outlet before we stop that, because they'll keep dealing with us, even if they don't like us, to keep getting our money.
Correct.
So until they find something different.
So keep the sickness. So what you're saying, Houston, is keep the sickness going. Keep the sickness going. Okay. While even until we can find a better way. I disagree with that. What needs to be done, it needs to be fixed. You can fix it right now by prohibition. It's just like I was getting ready to tell you. Martin Luther King finally figured it out at the last minute. And what did they do? They down in Mobile, down in Alabama, they told all the blacks, okay, look, if they're not gonna let you ride where you want to ride at on the bus.
Just get ready to say
don't
the same
ride
thing.
the bus. Find another way to get to work. And you know what that did? That affected change, because then they didn't have no money to run that. They didn't have no money. Nobody was coming to the buses. So now they had to start letting people off, and they start realizing, well, wait a minute, we're losing money here. You know, it's amazing what happens when you start taking money away. Then people start looking at things differently. And plus, when things fall down and they break down, guess what happens? We can pick up and start again from the rubble. Jews have been doing this for ages. They did it with Germany after World War I. And people think it was just the German people that rebuilt Germany. No, it was the Jews that rebuilt Germany, which led to World War II. And the Nazis then mad because the Jews built their country.
I think
So,
a lot of
this.
issues.
We have to start from the beginning.
I think a lot
We've been
of
starting
issues
from the beginning since the beginning of time. We keep starting again and again and again.
But
So what I'm saying,
I think the reason why we have to keep starting again is because we never start over collectively.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
it's always
and
a
so that's what I'm
percentage of
saying.
people. It's always
We're not doing like ants.
Yeah, it's
When
always
you
a
kick over an
percent of people
anthill,
that
what
start
happens?
over. Huh?
When
but
you
what
kick
he's
over
talking
an
about when you step over
anthill,
anthill, what happens?
what
But
happens?
here's what I'm saying. I get what you're saying about we just need to stop. Well, I'm looking at the bigger picture. When we just stop, the people that making the movies that spent their money aren't getting anything for it because now we already stopped.
But
What we need to do.
But I think the issue. Go ahead. Finish that.
But what I'm trying to say is, I'm not saying that we continue just keep looking at and spending subscriptions with Tubi. I'm saying that while we're already doing that, let's go ahead and build something over here so we can slide these people over to this and then leave Tubi alone. We don't need to just stop cold turkey because people have got money involved and they're making money.
I think the issue with that particular way of doing it is you're never going to have the capital to start this new thing over because you're going to be diluting the capital by still giving. And I understand what you're talking about these new content creators, because it is important that these people that have made these movies get paid. Mm-hmm. And I'm kind of on the fence, not about just starting completely over. I'm all for that, but it's like if I continue to let them give this content to Tubi, I'm still funding my demise.
Well, you know what?
Because I'm pretty sure the 74 million that he talked about before people like us found out about it and stopped their subscriptions, it maybe was 100 million. So I'm pretty sure that number that he gave factored into who stopped their subscriptions to Tubi.
Right.
And it's like it's like me living in this house that I'm paying for right now, and then trying to build another house the same size somewhere else. Instead of being able to go get a loan for $400,000, I got to take my extra $500 I got a month and put it to the side. Then I got to take next month my $500 and put it to the side. How long is it going to take me to get to $400,000?
Now, here's the catch with that. In my mind is this: you're going to continue staying in that house until you can find another place to live. Now, you're not going to say, I'm not paying for this house anymore and go live on the street.
That's the other issue that I was talking about.
Right.
With us, with Black people, and I'm talking about Black people, we never want to take a step back.
Right.
Because if with me, now, like I said, I can only speak for myself. I love my home. However, if I knew that the people that I was paying, I was funding my own demise, and then they were going to eventually use the money I paid them against me, I'd rather just give this house up and go live with my parents for a couple years, keep all my money, and put that money towards my new home.
Yeah.
Right. I get it. And I'm going to play devil's advocate. We need to do what you're saying. but we don't know how to do that
No,
because
and that's the issue.
because we don't know how to do that. Because how many of us know people that is paying for a car they know they can't afford, staying in a condo they know they can't afford, and working themselves to death instead of just getting them something to get by and getting a 1 or 2 bedroom and saving their money to get something better.
Because they
won't do
want
it
to, they want to, they want to
because
look
they want to
the
look
part that they
right.
want to play.
Status is
Right.
everything nowadays.
Right now,
I said status is everything nowadays. That
Mhm.
that what leads back to Tubi, because
Yep.
my generation, we're gonna, unfortunately, our mindset is we're gonna jump on the first thing smoking. Whoever is doing it by popularity, we're gonna go with it. Just to try it out and see, not actually do your research, and see who's behind it and
Yeah.
what's the actual meaning.
Okay.
And
Go
then
ahead.
therefore that leads us to a path where it's no turning around, because you're gonna soon find out that's not what it really was.
Right.
So I
Right.
think with Tubi, the movie that I actually started watching on Tubi was off TikTok.
Yep.
Didn't know either one of the characters from day to night, but I was following them and they had a lot of views and a lot of likes. So I was like, let me go watch it. And the acting was pretty good, but it was not a long lasting effect because I couldn't remember the name of the movie. So it's like,
Right. Right.
it gives you that, initiation to watch, but it's like, it's not a long lasting effect.
Yeah.
Right.
And unfortunately, I think I heard earlier today, once again, my generation, financial literacy was something that was not taught in school that needs to be taught in school. A lot of people, they're gonna see that first thing as far as a contract that looks good, but is it gonna last you? Like, you're making money, but it's just what a blow up, and that's it. So
You know what?
Like you know what, and with to Courtney, to piggyback off of what you just said, how many people that put a movie on Tubi still have any money left from what they got paid?
correct, or have to go back and make several
To
because
keep
that one
that
was just
stream of
one
exactly, keep
hit
that income
wonder.
stream.
Yeah.
So
So
my point is, and the example that I come up with is the guy that did the voice of Simba in The Lion King. He said that they offered him $1 million, and he was a young boy, a young kid getting $1 million, and this was back in what, the early 90s? No, I'm sorry, the late early 2000s, getting $1 million. But his mother said, "What do we get after that?" They said nothing.
Oh,
And
yes,
so he
yes,
took,
yes,
I think it was $100,000, $200,000 with the
yes.
residual rights, the residuals for that movie. And he said, "I get a check every single month."
He said,
Was that his first?
10 times.
Now,
Yeah,
was that his
it's 10 times.
first?
Yeah.
His first thing, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And he hadn't done anything prior to that.
I'm not sure if he done anything the prior.
Not
That-
anything major.
That was
That
because
Disney
he
check was
wasn't
bigger.
right. That's because he wasn't a part of the union and everything. If you were part of the union, if he had done a few things prior to that, and became SAG or after or something like that, then yeah, he could have done that. But see, that's Hollywood plays that role because okay, this is a young kid. Their parents, they don't know anything. Prime example. Sunbeam Bread came here to Greenville in 1981. Okay. Me and my brothers were in that along with a few other kids that went to school in the surrounding area here in Pitt County. They only paid us, they paid me only $50 for a whole day's worth of shoot.
Wow.
That was it. No residuals, no nothing. Whereas, and my brothers, for another whole day of shooting and a bunch of kids, they only paid those kids $25. Okay. Why? Because we nobody knew anything about SAG or
No.
anything like that, and that's how they played most of these young kids and families with that. That's why they were like, you weren't gonna get none, no residuals and everything
Right.
after that.
Well, see, and I think the issue, like when he said that he a lot of people are looking for this big huge payday,
Right.
and which is what to be counted on, because they bought these movies, gave them probably more money than they've ever seen. It could have been 5,000, it could have been 10,000 or whatever, but I can guarantee you most of them don't have anything left from that. You know what I'm saying? So what it is you now have the rights to this movie. They get no money after that, but this guy, he now gets a check every single month. So if we can only get our people to understand that sometimes you take a little bit to then get something bigger on the end.
Right.
But we want that cash in hand.
Right.
Is why we never ever want to take a step back and get a little bit, like I say, I'd rather give up, get a little bit to gain a lot later.
Well, even if, look, here's the thing, even if you don't gain a lot later, sometimes you can, like you said, you can get a lump sum in your hand now, or I can give you a little bit all along for a long period of time.
Mm-hmm.
And it works out better for you that way, but we're not brought up that way.
Yeah.
We rather have 70. If somebody said, look, I can go ahead and give you $100 a day, or I can just pay you $25 a month for a year. And be like, nah, go and give me that $100.
Yeah.
Not knowing that in 4 months, you got that $100. In 4 more months, you doubled that amount.
Correct.
We don't see that.
That's the same thing with the education lottery. You know what I'm saying? If the lottery is $100 million, you know, so they said, okay, well, you can either get the whole 100 million by getting monthly installments, or I can give you 75 billion. You know what I'm saying? And you get it
and
all.
You're still gonna have to pay taxes on that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so they're like, okay, well, I'd rather just go ahead and get my 75 million and go ahead and have it in my hand.
They got some.
Yeah, because this is the two things. One, most people do that because with this economy and the way the government is going right now, if you don't get it, you may not get it.
You won't get it, right?
So I get them wanting that lump sum. But if things were on the up and up and you knew and you were guaranteed without a shadow of a doubt of nothing ever happening and getting this money, I don't have $1 million, let alone a way to throw away $25 billion.
And look, it's not like, and it's not like we haven't seen this. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they show this on TV all the time. They put it on movies, TV shows. They tell you how things really work. Most of us don't pay it no mind and everything. We're not teaching our children this. We're teaching them a whole bunch of other mess instead of what we really should be teaching them now. Case in point, when you talk about the education of the lottery, there used to be a TV show called Lottery, okay? And on the show, most of the folks, they wanted their big money right then and there. They wanted all the big money. But there were two guys that would come to the person to award them the lottery.
Why you got balloons coming up on the screen?
I don't know. But you got one guy, he was the guy that presented. He was with the lottery company, and he presented the winner with the lottery. The other guy worked for the IRS, and his job was what? To tell you how much the U.S. government was going to get. Look it up. It's a TV series called Lottery, and and it was it came on back in the 80s. And this guy, you had two guys there. So most folks, they don't really know, and then they get that chunk taken for tax purposes and everything, and then they go out and have a field day. But you got to look at it like this: the black folks haven't had big money like that.
Yeah.
In this country. The only thing we known for now, real big, is hairdressing. And even then, we're not, we get our stuff from the Asians down the street.
Yep.
Add to that barber and liquor, which is now, if you want to put it on the big big platform, what is being sold or what we are known for now. But we're
Right.
not doing what we should be doing. Again, you have to start at the beginning. And it starts with your children or your grandchildren and teach them from day one. All this other crap. I mean, after all, you already done taught them this other stuff like Santa Claus, the Easter Bunny, their holidays, the calendar, and Columbus, all the crap they taught us in school. Well, now we need to start teaching them this other stuff so that we can work together. We can learn to trust each other and everything and work together to build these platforms. If you don't start doing that, then just like the young lady said, hey, this generation, hey, let me jump on this now. I don't know about all this stuff right now. I'm not doing my research. I just want to get on the first train smoking.
But it ain't the
Here's the
young
thing.
people. It ain't the young people that's subscribing to Tubi. It's all of us.
Yeah, because I don't have.
I mean, I see what he's saying. She was just giving an example about her generation. We're saying the same about ours.
It's all instantaneous for you guys.
Right. But it's all of us, wrapped together. One thing that Courtney said that I was like, man, I've heard this because I've said it myself.
Mhm.
My own generation, we said the same thing. Nobody taught us about when you turn 18, why do people expect you to understand how to pay light bill, phone bill, cable bill, internet bill, put gas in your car, auto insurance, homeowner, all this stuff that you're supposed to know at 18. Nobody taught us in school. Which now here's the thing that I'm looking at. We need to stop thinking that school's supposed to teach us that. Why don't we do it on our weekends?
There you
on
go.
the weekends, because that's something that I want to really get with you guys on. Putting something together that, hey, on the weekends, you get to bring your kids for just 2 hours. We're going to talk about money and finance. But at the end of the class, they may end up with $150. I'm just saying something like that.
Yes.
But the parents paid that money. I don't care if you pay $25 every 2 weeks. At the end, your son is going to get a check or a card that says, hey, you got this amount of money. Now, it looked like you paid him to learn, but you paid $150 for some knowledge that he has now for life. Yeah. Whether he used it or not, he's got it.
Now, I think
that's what we need to do.
Is Mechanics and Farmer a black-owned bank?
What's that?
Mechanics and Farmer.
There's tons of them now.
Oh, it is?
Oh, there's tons of black-owned banks now.
Because of course I'm with the credit union, I'm with the military, USAA, Navy Federal, and I have my income stretched between those, platforms, those banking institutions. But what I wanted to do was definitely get an account with a black-owned bank.
Right.
And have my kids with, even if it's just a savings account with a black-owned bank, because I can't now sit here and talk about Tubi.
Right.
Of pulling my
money sitting in another bank. Right.
And then not supporting a black-owned bank.
Be your own bank. Try this. Be your own bank. Okay, you cut out you can cut out the middleman in most places. You already got enough banks that you deal with. You really only need one bank, and if you want to find one black bank, I mean that's good. That's your choice. But learn to be your own bank. Start off by saying, okay, look, if I do this with my savings account or with my checking account, and if I and instead of just running around trying to find the best savings account, learn what the stock market is all about, because that's what they're gonna do with your money anyway.
Yeah.
Learn what minerals.
I'm all for that.
Learn what minerals. Yeah. Learn what minerals are. Okay. Buy gold. Buy emeralds. Put it in a safe. Those things are worth more than money any day.
And that's great. And I'm with you. But we got to get them to stop buying Nikes and the latest jeans.
It's the parents' fault, though.
First off, they have to know
Houston, it's the parents' fault. It's the parents' fault. Once you take that mess out of the parents' head and tell and so that the parents don't buy this stuff for the kids to win their love and everything, then granted, then it'll be a learning process. Stop teaching them, stop harping on these holidays for them and everything. Let them go one Christmas without getting toys. Instead, just spending time with the family. Try it. Instead of buying the shoes, the expensive shoes. Try it.
Okay, we did that this year. We actually adopted a family. We adopted a family, and we bought. She had 5 kids. Well, 4 kids. I'm sorry, she had 4 kids. I'm sorry, no, she had 5 kids. She had 5 kids, and we went out and we bought them clothes, we bought them jackets, we bought them toys, we bought them for them, and my kids actually enjoyed shopping for other kids,
Right.
because the kids are a lot smaller than them.
Right.
And
How about
our
this?
Christmas this year, I think we each got like maybe one gift for each other, and that was it. And my sister said this was probably
I
the
can be
most
devil's advocate in that, but go
rest-free
ahead.
Christmas ever.
I get it.
How about this? My kids, I stopped buying them gifts when they turned 12 years old. Okay, when they turned 12, I stopped buying. They all knew it was coming. And the first one, he was like, Dad, that sucks. The other two, they were like, is he gonna do us that way? Yeah, he did us that way. But here's what I did for them. I started them out a custodial stock platform, stock market, and it's their own stock market site where I would buy maybe a $2 stock for them for Christmas, and or a 10 or 20 or $100 stock for them for their birthday. That, one or two stocks, and that was it. It's the gift that just kept on giving, because by the time they turn 18, here's what happened. I can't touch that stock. Once I make it a custodial area for them, I can't touch it. I can't sell anything of theirs. It keeps going. And when they turn 18, depending on how much I put in it, and then how much I make them put into it, because I make them pay attention to it when they're 13 and 14, look at what's happening here, and they see the money grow. When they turn 18, all that's theirs. Okay?
Well,
So
now,
I'm
that's
with
a
you.
Is a
great
Christmas
idea,
gift and a
but
birthday
we all
gift that
have
keeps on
kids
giving.
who are
So
grown now, so we can't start the young. You know what I'm saying? We have to
we can.
No, the
Always
young is
start.
where you need to start.
we need to start with the
Because
grown
Right. Yeah,
these
people, not with
teenagers
kids.
you can.
and young adults
Because-
is gone at this
because
point. It's
Right.
like they got their own mindset, and like I said, it's what's happening.
Then the thing is lost. Then the war is lost. Because when you start thinking on that level, if you can give a 20-year-old $1 or a 22-year-old $1, if you can pay for their college education and everything, and they're over 18 years old, but now you're saying, oh, well, we can't do it because they have their own mindset, then the war is lost.
No. I didn't say we
No,
couldn't
what
do
I'm
it. I
saying
said we
is
have to do it on
you
a
have to
different
meet them where they
level.
are. Yeah, you can't just.
we have to do it at a different level with them now.
Yeah.
Because
You
they're
can't
not
just
kids
say I'm
anymore.
just gonna go 1990s on them, because that's gonna be hooked on phonics.
Well, give me an example of what you're talking about.
What I'm saying is, first off, you're gonna have to meet this generation where they
Where they
are.
are. There you go.
Where my parents were in the late 90s and 2000s, it's not gonna work with this generation. We're like way ahead versus that. Not saying those morals and values are not needed, because I'm 30 years old and my dad still talks to me about stock market. But most 30-year-olds may know what a stock market is or not even interested. So the new thing is how I can flip this money and make it this, and this. So you're gonna have to meet this generation where they are. And if there are up and coming teenagers, sure, give them these, lessons and seminars. It's never too late. But what I'm saying is, you have to meet them where they are and come up with some kind of new strategy, because everybody's on different levels. Everybody's not taught the same or raised the same. So, it's nowadays you raise off survival or you raise off of love. It's one of the two. So
I was about to say what's going to happen is, Courtney, piggybacking on what you're saying, some folks are going to have to live off survival.
Pretty much.
Because and the reason why I say that is because some people, when you try to help them, they tug away from it.
Correct.
Until the lights are out. Until the car is gone because it got repossessed.
Yeah.
So they're gonna have to learn the hard way.
Pretty much. When
right.
COVID hit, it was so much scamming going on because there were so many opportunities. Most people, when they get the age of 30, they're not going to have a bank account because they're going to be closed by all of the 10 they done scammed through. So it's like, it's a get rich scheme nowadays. How I'm going to get this money and get it quick. it's not the moral of get a job, keep a job, and invest in your 401k, or
Right.
pay your rent on time, or
Right.
keep your credit at a certain minimum. Like, they may have been taught that, but once again, it's all on status. I went to school with people, and half of them, I'm like, did we go to school together? Like, do you remember anything we were taught? Because we were in the same class, graduated the same class, but it's just like, hey, with anything, you either gonna go left or right. So
Right.
So
Right.
what
it's
do we
just
do? So with that, and we're talking about say a 30, say a 20, anybody between 25 and 35 years old,
mhm.
and say they weren't taught this by their parents. What did what's is there a suggestion or any type of anything that they can do, anything that they can go?
Yeah.
Now I got
Yeah.
ideas, but I'm just
Yeah.
curious as to what y'all think. Where can you go? Since
So
For
I'll
we got the
certain,
problem, what's the solution?
correct. Well, of course, social media is going to teach them because that's the main thing that's going on now,
right.
unfortunately. But also, too, it's who you're hanging with as well. What company are you keeping? It may just be that one positive seed in the bunch that may bring all of their friends to the positive side. It just all depends. But I feel like at the point in time that I'm at, I gotta keep my, my topics, of course, clear and catchy, but I also have to keep it where it's gonna draw people my age or that 25, that something
Right.
I say or will continue to say will say, leave them at a point of thought afterwards. That'll
Yeah.
have
Right.
them thinking, that'll maybe say, okay, maybe I can try it this way, or you know what I'm saying? Like, you have to keep their attention span,
And
because
they said that when trying to kids, my daughter's 14.
Mhm.
Any video longer than 30 seconds, they're
Yeah,
gonna scroll past it.
they're gonna
yeah,
scroll
Right.
past, right?
yeah.
So
Right.
So
it's
if we
up to
could get
So
us.
these superstars or these video gamers or anything like that that's making money off of our kids, unfortunately, teenagers, young adults, if we
right.
could get them on a more positive realm, then that may change the scope.
Yeah.
But
Right.
it's all in, unfortunately, it's all in what you're in. Because my
And
8-year-old goddaughter, I kept her 2 weeks ago, and her birthday was October, and she said, I still have my money from my birthday. And I said, you do? And she said, yeah, I'm saving it for my college fund. I said,
Mhm.
your college fund? And she
Mhm.
said, yeah, because those kids at school won't call me broke.
Mhm.
8 years old. And
Mhm.
I'm like, what in the world? Like, it had me thinking all the rest of the day, and I'm just like, this is too much.
yeah,
Like,
Yeah.
that
they
is
have
once again.
they have
Yeah.
the what is it, the if you watch TikTok, and I like any app that my kids are on, I'm on.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And it's the kids were learning math, and the popular show is Wildin' Out, and they have a one of the games is in the classroom, so they have to rhyme. They'll
Mhm.
start with one word, and they have to keep rhyming that
Right.
word until somebody messes up.
Right.
And so
Right.
the teacher turned around and used that same platform and was doing timetables.
I saw
Mhm.
that.
You
Yeah,
understand?
Right.
I see
And
that.
the
Yeah.
kids, not only because they like, hey, I watch Wildin' Out. This is fun. They already
Mhm.
want to be on the show, pretty much. So,
Mhm.
I
Right.
mean, you just have to meet these kids at the level that they are. And it does not mean we have to dumb down anything. We just have to
No,
change the platform in which we're presenting it. Because
and we have to be
lectures
consistent.
pretty much work
Yeah,
for us. You know what I'm saying? The
yeah.
whole driving drunk, when we had to watch the video that
Mhm.
traumatized us when we was in school
Mhm.
about
Right.
Mhm.
drunk driving,
Right.
that
Right.
works for us. You know what I'm saying? But these kids play games that's way more graphic than almost any accident you can come up with.
For
Right.
certain.
So
Yeah.
they've
Right.
been desensitized. You have to find another way to drive home the importance of not drinking and driving, not just with a
Correct.
video.
Correct.
But everybody, let's do this. Let's do this. Everybody take Tobias, you go first. Let's take about 30 seconds. And everybody, let's make our point, because we're gonna cut it and make sure we do another one to add back to this, because
Gotcha.
we kind of got off the subject we were talking about, but it all works
It
together.
all connects. It all
It
connects.
all
all
connects.
connects. It all connects. 30 seconds. Go for it.
30 seconds. Okay. So you have to start at the beginning. You have to start at the beginning no matter what. If I look at children as sponges, and their brains need to soak up that water, and it's up to us to give it to them and do it for them. Give them that information no matter what. If it comes hard, it comes hard. But the bottom line is, this is a hard world that we live in, and it's cold. So we have to be tough on them. Real quick, my kids are in different generations. I have a 35-year-old. I have a 27-year-old. I have a 16-year-old and two 13-year-olds. So they, I've treated them all the same way. So in most cases, you really have to come strong with them in order for them to become a success. And so far, I've not been disappointed.
Okay.
All right. Courtney, you want to go?
I would just say, I read a quote today. It said, "Be yourself. Everyone else is already taken." I just encourage,
I like that.
be yourself. That plays back to Tubi. Just be yourself. Do your own thing. Sometimes fitting in the crowd is not all the way, you just have to be at your own pace. And I
Yep.
feel like we as a Black community first have to come to a consent that we have to support each other. Support is everything. We have to get out of this mindset like a bag of crabs. And we really have to just put our egos to the side and come together. That is where change comes. I think when that starts, then we can move somewhere. But just remember to just be yourself and keep it connected. That's all I have for you.
Oh, I like it. Write that in there. Put your name in it. Put your name in it. I'll go next. So Ursula, you can wrap it up. To me, I love the fact that we had these discussions. Because secondly, looking at what we talked about with Tubi, I understand what you guys are saying. Sometimes you just gotta cut it off and start from scratch.
Yeah.
And my thought process is, I totally understand what you're saying, but before we cut ourselves off, let's at least be working on something else so we can have that money coming in to maybe invest in building something else. So that's what I'm looking at. I'm not saying that, hey, we don't need to cut Tubi off or whatever the case is. We need to do the research, find out exactly if this guy owns it. Does he have anyone on his board that's in the minority? Or how much money? We're going to find somebody that has their movie on Tubi, and we're going to get some numbers. Because I'm curious. Because if you're only getting $2,500 or $5,000 and that's it, that to me, that's a problem. Or if you're only getting 50 cents or 20 cents every time your movie's played, or every 1,000 times, that might be a problem. So we need to find out more information.
Okay, so with me, I'm gonna just say, as Malcolm X said, by any means necessary. I don't have a problem stepping back 2 steps to take a step forward 3. I mean, I just believe that I can't know that you're plotting against me and still be connected to you. That's just, I feel like, I'm just letting you get closer to stabbing me in the back. So I do believe, and I understand what you're saying, Houston, about there has to be some kind of bridge, because you don't want to, what they say, cut your nose off to spite your face. I understand that. But when we have things like, what is it? P. Diddy's channel, what is it
Revolt
called?
TV.
Revolt TV. We got Incite-tv. You know what I'm saying? Things that are already established that just need to be built upon. So we have the means to move those things to something that represent us wholesomely, versus letting them have one more dollar of our money.
That's right.
I'm with you.
I'm
Sounds
saying,
good.
so,
Sounds good.
I just think that us having platforms like this and bringing in more people like Maurice, like Courtney and you, Houston, who We may not have PhDs and things like that, but when you have a knowledge, like Courtney said, of who you are, to me, that's all the education that you need. Who you are, where you came from. So I will say that. And I want to first thank Courtney, our guest tonight that hasn't been here before.
Thank
So
you
much for coming in.
Yes.
Just know whenever you see that link on Facebook, you are most certainly welcome to just click it and join in. Absolutely. Maurice, glad you're doing better.
Thank you.
Glad to see you back up and about. Look forward to seeing you back in the studio too.
Absolutely.
Again, thank you so much for doing all that you do. We wouldn't be where we are now had you not came in, stepped in, and helped us out. So I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
And
no doubt.
Everybody, we haven't seen Jabari and Angelica in a while. We're looking forward to them coming back too. But from me and Keeping It 100, thank you. We love you guys. See you next time.
Take care.